Warning, this video is a follow-up on my earlier one about reality. It will draw heavily on that one and makes the assumption that you have viewed the reality video. If you haven't viewed it, please view it now. If you're okay with not having viewed it, then that's your prerogative and not mine. So, tell me, do you think that everything you remember is real? Personally, I do, but that is just as legitimate as someone who says that all of their memories were created last Thursday. Now, I asked you to question yourself and to question your perceptions in the last video, for it may very well be true that you're simply plugged into the Matrix. This is possible but unlikely, though I ask that you consider the following. Your memories may be as true as your perceptions. Actually, I'd argue that they're less so. Now, memory is an interesting beast. You have multiple types of memory: sensory, short-term, and long-term. Sensory is the ability to remember what something was like about a second ago. Someone snatches something out of your grasp and you know exactly what it looked like for a brief moment. Short-term is the ability to remember things for a few seconds, anywhere between about 5 and 10. This is generally used to store chunks of information, a string of digits, a basic thing that's over there, or otherwise keep stock of things. Short-term memory is brief, moment to moment. You will forget it after a few seconds, and it doesn't matter. But long-term memory, that is where you are deceived by your own mind. Long-term memory is indefinite. It is an event, or a thing, or a phone number, or something that lasts forever. And long-term memory is an interesting thing, because it's very difficult to control what you know and what you keep in your long-term memory unless you repeat it over and over and over. This means that if you wish to keep something in your mind, an event, a moment, a holiday perhaps, something like that, something great, you do not really have any control over it. Ironically enough, I've found that simply thinking the sentence, "I will remember this," will cause me to remember something, which means I have a rather few innocuous memories of completely and utterly boring things, only punctuated by the sentence, "I will remember this." But tell me then, what prevents my memories from having been created? Now, I'm going to have you question yourself. There is a pseudoscientific thing known as the Mandela effect, where people share something called false memories. False memories being an incorrect memory that is formed from mere misunderstanding, or perhaps something more sinister. Those who subscribe to the Mandela effect believe that they have travelled from one universe to another, and that they have, well, experienced something truly unique. The Mandela effect only manifests in tiny things mostly, like the spelling of a certain word, like Berenstein, but there can be other things that it manifests at, something a little bigger. For example, the name, the Mandela effect, comes from a rather oft-reported incident of the Mandela effect, and that incident was when a bunch of people believed that Nelson Mandela had died in prison. Yes. Now, I don't know if you are one of the people who believes that, but I did not know of this until I learnt of the Mandela effect. And let me tell you that I was surprised to hear that people believed this. Now, listener, I wanted you to question yourself, and now I would like to ask you again to question yourself. There are 1,000 tiny things in your lives, and I'd like you to examine them, because you could have experienced this Mandela effect, and while it might be interesting to hear that, you believe now the Plague Doctor mask had a beak at the top instead of a beak at the bottom, I believe that, well, it's all quite ridiculous. This is, however, assuming that the entire universe wasn't created last Thursday and that all our memories were created then. Oh well. Tune in next time where I shall ramble for approximately 3 minutes and 47 seconds about how you may or may not die one day.